Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Starlight Express Alumni Podcast and our special series, Voices of Starlight. In this series, I reconnect with performers from Starlight Express and explore the journeys that began when we were young artists stepping onto those tracks. Journeys that continue shaping our lives many years later. Today's conversation is a special one. I had the opportunity to sit down with George and Janeen, Amico, and had a wonderful conversation with a wonderful couple who have shared not only the Starlight experience, but also nearly 30 years of life together and the joy of raising two children. During the editing of this interview, I discovered that the audio from my side of this conversation didn't come through clearly. So what you'll hear in this video are George and Janeen's reflections and stories as they share their memories and experiences. And I have to say, there were several moments in this conversation that truly touched my heart. I'm grateful that I was able to capture this time with them, and I hope you enjoy hearing their story as much as I did. Now, let's hear the journey of George and Janeen Amico after this 30-second bit about the Living Strong community.
Living strong is just a tap.
If you love community and connecting with people who want to grow, encourage one another, and live strong mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, I created a place for that. Welcome to the Living Strong community. This is our community wall where members share reflections, encouragement, ideas, and what they're doing to live strong in their daily lives. Inside the classroom, I share lessons, tools, and frameworks from the Living Strong method, things you can actually do and practice in your everyday life as you live strong. Now, if this speaks to you, on screen there's a link and a QR code, or you can just click the link in the description of this video or in the comments below. We'll see you there. Remember, living strong is just a tap away.
Living strong.
I think I was 21.
I was 25.
I was dancing for the Orlando Magic in Orlando, and I was auditioning originally for Cats. So I flew up to New York for the callback, and that's where I was. I was dancing here in Orlando.
So I was in London, and I'd actually just finished being a singer on a cruise ship, doing the UK tour of Godspell, West End, and did Forever Plaid with the original Broadway guys, which was a lot of fun. And then I auditioned for Simon Lee and Arlene, actually. Arlene came in and saw the last part of the audition, and they gave it to me right there and then, which was amazing. It was like a dream for like 10 years. I watched Starlight when I was like 16, and I saw it with my mother and saw the Starlight sequence, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this show. It was always a dream of mine to do it, and then I couldn't believe it. It happened. Everything I've ever chased is always wanting to be the best of what I can do. That's it. It doesn't have to be famous, I just want to be the best person for that job. And someone says, yeah, he was good. That's it. I don't know if it's recognized. I don't even need them to recognize it. I just need to know myself. I was the best I could be.
I could see you wanting to prove it to yourself that you can do it.
Yeah, we all have family issues, where you have to prove yourself. We all have daddy issues.
And therapy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we have. So you have to prove it to yourself because you never got it from anywhere else.
I never wanted to be. My always go-to was like Paul Abdul and Janet Jackson, and I was in Orlando being surrounded by all of my friends growing up. You had Howard, they call him Howie D now, and Backstreet Boys. You have, I did Universal with Joey from NSYNC. So being surrounded by all those people, I never had I want to be famous, because it was just normal life. You're with Shaquille O'Neal all the time. You're with all these people. So there wasn't a need or a want to do that. What I want to do is just dance because that's what made me happy.
No, you wanted to be in Cats.
I wanted to be in Cats. That was my dream. I had never seen Starlight Express, but when Stella Productions came by, they were auditioning for both. And silly me had skating on my resume. But I think God actually had another plan, because if I hadn't done Starlight, I wouldn't have met him.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because you know.
Well,
I mean, you have a similar thing, you know. I mean, you meet your spouse, and it's 30 years later with kids. It's just an amazing thing. So I think that didn't know that was my goal, but that ended up being my goal. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. I was a believer. I was a Christian. I say was, but I still am. I remember getting there, and the only music I had with me were cassette tapes. This is aging me. Cassette tapes of Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant. And I remember sitting in the dressing room with people who were not, I don't think were believers, and from different walks of life. Like, I say different walks of life, different countries. Like, I don't even know if there were any Americans in my dressing room. And some of them became like my greatest friends. Even now, I still keep in contact with them. But I always had that foundation going in. So when that happens, you gravitate towards people who believe the same. And I can remember having Bible study when I was there. So, I mean,
So what did you believe about life?
What did I believe about life? That it was adventurous, that it was wonderful, that it was, I mean, as a 21-year-old, leaving your home country and moving all the way across the world was the best. I will tell you, I had the most supportive parents to let me go and let me fulfill my dream. I remember my mom saying, now don't you go over there and, you know, meet anybody. Well, that didn't happen, you know. She just
No, it did happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't take her advice. I was a rebel.
She was a rebel. See, I just thought life was. I was always taught no one gives you anything for free. You know, so you have to work hard, take for what you can get, and push your way to the front. That's why I was saying about being the best. Nothing comes free, and except for the blood of Jesus Christ, of course. But nothing comes free. But it's like no one gives you anything for free. You fight hard. Remember where you came from. I was working class. We didn't have anything. So I was grateful for whatever I got. And that's why we were always at the top of the classes and everything, because you worked harder than everyone else. And we still do that now. We work harder than everyone else. And it's just like, when people say, I don't have time to do this, I'm like, there is so many hours in the day. You know, it's so funny when people say to me, oh, I haven't planned Christmas Eve service yet, or Easter service. I'm like, it's not a surprise. It's the same day every year. Yeah. You know how to plan. So I'm just like, I just don't get people having that motivation of just wanting to be the best and striving. That was what.
But his question, and I'm going to go back to your question, your younger self.
Yeah,
George
it was.
That was his mental state. He was not a believer. He did not. He never saw his life turning a corner and becoming
dog eat dog be.
Yeah,
man. You got to be the best you can be, and whoever's on the ladder, be nice on the way up, because on the way down you have to say hello to them again. But know that they're in strict competition. You know.
He was big in the West End, and the thing is that it's.
I was at least 5'11". Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, when he left to go to Germany, I think it was a big choice. It was a
dream, though. Man.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Debbie Herndon ever watches this,
I love her.
I do now. Now that we've had many years apart.
Hopefully she loves us still.
She was always very close to me, because she lived very close to where I grew up. So she was like Walthamstow. I was in Stratford, Leytonstone. So we had that together, and also worked with her sister Mandy. She was my choreographer on the cruise ship. So I definitely put that on my resume when I went in, because I knew if I put Mandy Hearn, and she did. When she looked at it, she went, "Oh, Mandy." So you know how you do all those little
Didn't
ploys.
you know her mom? We
No,
met.
not then.
Oh, because
But,
we visited her mom.
But I'm not the greatest. I'm a mover. I wasn't the greatest dancer. Okay, but I was a singer. Okay, and I wanted to go for Rusty. I'm like, he's a singer. And Debbie, I know, wanted to cut me all the time. She wanted to cut me. And Simon Lee, the musical director of the London version, was there. And he knew me really well. I worked with him on a lot of projects. And every time she went to get my picture, because I saw it, he would take it and put it to one side, on his side. And he kept my picture on one side so Debbie couldn't get to it. And I was watching this the whole time, and then yeah, so I did the dance because they knew, anyway, I was a mover. And then when Arlene came in and we did the audition, and she offered it to me right there. And then they said, do you want to sing Starlight? I'm like, all right. Because that was my audition piece. So, because that was my audition piece, and I didn't sing, because Simon said, you sing Starlight Express for every audition I've seen you at, and you didn't sing it for Starlight Express audition. I sang All Good Gifts from Godspell. I was like, well, you don't sing the songs from the show, that's that golden rule, and then he goes, okay, you want to sing it? And I sang it, and she was just like, yeah, we're good, so that was the audition process. Yeah, if Debbie had her way, I wouldn't have gone. Janeen, how did it go for you?
Mine wasn't so extravagant. I went to the audition.
Probably very funny.
I was a dancer back then. Dancer, singer. And the reason why you could tell is because I made the most embarrassing. I mean, thank goodness I've met Lea Salonga now, so it's like it's not as embarrassing. She's wonderful, but I made the biggest embarrassment out of myself. I was at the audition, and I'm not sure if I should really say this is really embarrassing.
Come on.
I was at the audition and getting ready to sing again, and they asked me, what type of singer are you? And I'm sure they were asking, am I an alto? Am I a soprano? Am I... I said,
I'm a really good one.
I said, kind of like Lea Salonga, who so compares themselves to one of the most amazing Broadway singers in the... Because I was stupid.
You just filled with humility.
I had no idea what I was saying. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm surprised. I actually think I was a backup.
I like Lea Salonga.
I don't know why I said that. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. But that was in Orlando. They ended up giving me a call back. They flew me up to New York, and
she thought she was going to get the white cat.
I thought I was going to get cats. That's what I was, not the white cat, it was the kitten.
Yeah.
And they had me singing for Rumple Teaser as well.
Then you were only 3 foot.
Shut up. I'm 4'11", so it's like it was Rumple Teaser and the white kitten, which I don't even remember the white kitten. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. But the Rumple Teaser, I had to keep singing the song, singing. So that was my dream of having that. I never even thought about but when I got up there to the callback, they said, bring your skates. And so I had to borrow somebody's skates and bring them up to New York. And they had me do is it the downward duck? What is it called? My brain is.
With the one leg going?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't do that. Do you know how to do that?
Yes.
Peter, I cannot do that. I never did it.
Like a pistol squat.
A squat thing, yeah. My Achilles, they're so tight. There's no way. Maria Jane, could totally just zoom on by squatting, and I cannot do it worth a crap. So, but I tried. I did that, and I skated. I remember doing the audition, but I didn't get a call until late. It was in December. I think I don't think I was the first cast calling. So I actually think that I got called because somebody, they never told me this.
Don't put yourself down.
They never told me this, but I think I was the second
I didn't get it till
choice.
end of January.
I thought they offered it to you.
Yeah, but there and then, but they hadn't found many people. They were still looking. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't put yourself down. Put yourself out there, girl.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, she was the best white cat ever. Yes.
No, I didn't.
Every day.
At all.
Yeah.
I was intimidated with the fact that I didn't think I could sing it. I was like, man,
Really?
They didn't tell me Rusty was like.
Oh, you mean once you got there?
Yeah, I was like super tenor.
So the girls had
Yeah.
a different situation because we had, you remember, was that the time when Michelle,
DuBois?
was that when she got hurt or was that the first time?
No,
We've
that's
been there
second time.
2 times.
We went back.
We went twice. So the first time, Nina. Something happened to Nina and she was our first cast Dinah and I was Jewel cover Dinah. So
She didn't go until July or something.
Yeah, I
She
was
had her
doing
leg.
Dinah a lot. And I think I questioned my dance ability actually because I couldn't, it was hard for me to do I never could do the front walkover. I faked it and because I was nervous on skates.
Well, didn't they always say that Starlight was the dancer's graveyard? I always heard that back in the 90s because the things you have to do on skates, you have to retrain yourself a little bit. So I'm saying, but the thing is, it was funny because I was really a second tenor and I had certain notes. So I had to retrain my voice without anybody knowing in the Akora Hotel, So I would sing up until, where your break your voice. And then I would slip into my head voice 2 notes before my break. Okay. So then I would then smooth my break out so no one would know where it was. So then I would go up into A's, B flats and C's in a full head voice, but it sounded like chest because I'd already transferred before.
Wow.
So I actually retrained my voice in skate school to do it. And no, I didn't tell anyone I was doing it.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I had to do it. So when I'm hitting these top C's, everyone's like, man, you really bell now. I'm like, nah, not really. I'm just hitting all in head voice. Well, I think the first time when we went back in 96, 97, and we went back in 99, 2000, 2001. The first time we went, I think we went as almost entitled. Like we were entitled people. Like we're in Germany. We're the ones in Bochum that, we are in this show that's making this town, what it is.
What it is.
So we walked around like a little bit more entitled, we'd speak English when we didn't even give a chance to speak German, that kind of stuff. And I just think we were young, arrogant,
immature.
and I didn't like me.
I didn't either. I didn't like myself at all.
And then the second time we went round, it's like we tried to learn German and speak it, and more you try and learn German, people then start going, no, it's okay, I speak English, but at least you gave it a shot. At least you went and we visited different places and we tried all different things and we enjoyed the culture. I love German people. I love Germany, but I only loved it for the second time round. But then the legacy for me with the first time we went was I found out I had a heart problem and I had to go on a rest for a whole year. I couldn't work. And they said if you hadn't done this rest, you'd be dead at 30. Wow. So I had to have 2 heart operations at the end of I didn't even finish my first contract. So they had to go on and fix it, and then I went back the second time round, and because I never got my final closing in 96, 97, so when I went back in 99, my attitude was every time I get a chance to go on, it's going to be my last show. So the first year I did Rusty so many times, and I just had the attitude of like I am privileged to be on this stage because I know what it's like to have everything taken from you. So that was what I learned from those 2 visits.
I think the first time for me, after meeting George and the way my life was before living in Orlando and knowing what heart palpitations felt like, even though I didn't have a heart problem, I just grew up with this intuition I physically had them. But nothing was ever wrong with me. So when I met George and he was telling me what was going on with him as he's like on the side of the stage, bent over,
I'd have to
trying
go
to breathe.
off stage, right before the Starlight Express song, when they're doing a race or race 2 with Papa, and I'm off. I'm literally sitting backstage, can't calm my heart down. It's doing 250, 300 beats a minute. I don't know if I can get out there.
And I asked him, I said, what is wrong? And he explained to him, I said, you need to get to the cardiologist. I said, those are heart palpitations. You should not be doing this. There's nothing to... Within the next week, they said we need to go in and do a heart cath. They did a heart cath to do an ablation, a simple ablation. When they went in there, they saw the whole left ventricle was enlarged. He had cardiomyopathy, and they said you have to stop all activity as of today, or you will be dead before you're 30.
Wow.
So that was a wake-up call, period. And I don't think it was a mistake that we met. I don't think any of it was a mistake. I don't think...
I got up the morning of the audition and tried to convince myself not to go. I was like, oh my goodness, I got to go down to, in London and just do it. So I'll just get up and go, So there were so many things about why I didn't go, but we did. And Janeen didn't get cats, and we auditioned late, and then we got there, and then we met, and then she was the one that said, you've got to go find the heart doctor. So really and truly, I mean, if you think about it, and Janeen probably can, all mushy. Janeen's probably saved me twice, right? That time, and also, showing me who Jesus was.
Yeah.
So it's like two times in my life she saved me.
I think for me, and maybe this goes for all the alumni, I don't know, this was the hardest show I've ever done. And when I say hardest show, I don't mean mentally, I mean physically. Physically hard. Rehearsals and training, those first 3 months of training, it was difficult. You had to push yourself to limits that you've never pushed yourself before.
You peeled your skates off at the end of skate school. You peeled them off. Remember, everyone knows this. I'm in a Danny Lee style, peeling off his skates at the end at 6 o'clock in the evening, and skin is coming off at the same time. It's just, and we all, every one of us, probably 1,000 of us that have done it now, we're in that unique club where we can look at each other and say, I know what you feel, I know what you went through, but you got up on the stage and you made it to opening night. To make opening night for all of us,
that is amazing.
That we all look at each other in the eyes and just go, man, we are going to be brothers and sisters for life because we made it.
Even the crazy thing is you go through life and you meet somebody. I met Todd Lester. Todd Lester did it, in New York? You know Todd.
Yeah, he did the New York, he did the tour with us.
Right.
I didn't, and then we met Robbie Pyger after the 96, 97. He sang on another musical that I wrote, a concept album. He sang on it.
Yeah.
And then we just, it's just, everybody comes out and says, yeah, I did Starlight. And it's, as soon as you said it, it's like, we're in a club. But I just think Starlight, I mean, I don't know whether we edit this in or out, but I don't think it's the greatest written show in the world. And we know that there's many musicals out there, but it's one of my favorites because there's a passion and there's a connection to the show and everybody that you've met. The second time we went there, again, it's like I say, even up till now, singing on a stage in worship or writing music, you are privileged to have the talent you have because it's been given to you by somebody above you, and you take care of that talent. And so don't take it for granted because it can be taken away in a second. So that second contract we did was like, I loved every second of that second contract. I don't think it's the show that we have the affinity with. It's all the backstage stuff when we were waiting in the hallway, waiting to go on, and we're all lined up, sitting down, talking, and we go out because in Germany, all you had was each other. It wasn't like in New York where you could go back to your own home, all that stuff. We only had each other. So the friendships and the camaraderie we had going before we stepped on that stage, we already had something significant and special before we stepped on the stage. The show, to be honest, the show was a secondary because everything else, just going to the canteen and hanging out at 5 o'clock before you go to skate warm up. These were what I remember. The Akora Hotel, the training, all that stuff. The show was the byproduct of everything else that was special.
We became really good friends with Kent, who played Grace Ball.
Kent Sheridan.
He sang at our wedding. Kent and Sue, they married couple, had children there, had a very deep love for each other and a respect for each other. And meeting George and us hanging out with them, at least for me, I loved them. And it made it feel like home to me because they became such great friends. That and
Garland Days was special to us.
I mean, more so to you as a friend, like Kathleen was to me.
John
Clark was in our wedding as well.
Was very special to us. I also, out of respect, I did respect Debbie Herndon a lot.
Yeah.
And I know you're talking about cast, but creative team. I mean, she was a nutbuster, man. I mean, and I love that. I love tough love. I love it. I love it. Like, don't be saying you're the best in here. No, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and so I can get it right. You know, and she had no fear of that. You know, and then Chris Newton, who was the music director in the second one, 1999, 2000, we become great friends, and he was someone I really, you know, we just talked about life. We didn't even talk about the show. You know, so I mean, and that's the affinities we have because he was a musician, I was a musician. You know, but I really lent towards the creative team because that's what I wanted to be eventually anyway, on that on a creative team. So I watched how they worked. I watched how they really were hard on people. But then, you know, when they gave you that little nugget, you're like, oh my goodness, my whole world is fantastic. You know, so I don't know. Yeah, Kent, Garland, Debbie.
I was probably very difficult.
Robert Hardware. Come on now.
I will say.
Let's give a shout out to Robert.
Robert Hardware.
No joke.
Yep.
No joke. I just heard from him 3 days ago. He was like, when are we going to catch up? We catch up all the time. We talk to each other. And I have to say, Janeen Amico was different than Janeen Livings.
Yes, she grew into Janeen Livings. She became a woman. I think the second contract is when it shifted and changed. The first contract, we were novices. We were learning our way. That's why we were a little bit more arrogant, maybe a little bit naive. The second contract, we went in as
a married couple.
But we were alumni in a way that we've done it before. We've gone through this before, and we're seeing all these young kids go through skate school, go through hell. So we became people that they looked up to.
We weren't first cast either in the second
time,
contract.
Which is fantastic.
We were subs.
I love being swing.
I love being a swing for all the girls.
Swings are where it's at. Man.
Yeah, much better. But I will say that I don't think it was the show perhaps that changed us. I think it was going into the show, the contract for the first time. I was a certain person, and then you kind of grow up a little bit, go to therapy, do what you do, deal with your past, deal with your childhood, get those things figured out, and then you go back and do it again, and you're a completely different person.
Well, no, but we become the mentors of the younger cast going through skate school. So we know what they're going through, so they can come to us and we can say, look, you'll get through it.
Yeah.
Know? And we were there for them rather than the first contract. It was like eat or be eaten, you know.
Yeah.
So we just did what we had to do. But then the second contract is like, I remember some people just didn't know how to do this. And look, I will slow down. I will skate the way you want me to. I will hold the back of my thing so you're holding on to me. So I've got you. So it was the second one was like, I've got you. The first one was like, I've got me, you know, and that's all I care about. The second one is like, it's much more of like, I will get you through this show. Don't worry. I know what it's about. I know how scared you are. So I'm there for you. I think the second contract was much more that.
When I did Pearl for the first time, I felt, okay, I can do it. I can now do every single role. I know, and that's the thing. When you know somebody gets hurt and you can get into that costume within 4 minutes and get on stage.
No makeup.
And get your
no
head,
makeup though.
Yeah,
just
no,
one
just
eyebrow done.
Just your wig and lipstick and maybe eyelashes.
Yeah.
You know, when you can within 4 minutes those dressers are getting you ready as a swing. And you're in it.
Thank God for the German efficiency.
I know. And it didn't matter what role it was, your mind was there. Oh, yeah. That was the best feeling. Mm-hmm. You knew exactly what to do.
You know what I always say, you can find 10 Rusties, you can find 10 Pearls, you can find them all. You cannot find 10 swings that know 10 rolls.
Yeah.
The swing roll is, I was first class, we were both first class, first time around. Swing's the second time around. to find decent swings is it's so hard. It's so hard. So hard to be able to go on, because you know what? The understudies and the swings have to be as good as the first cast, because otherwise the people paying the money are going to be like, hang on a second, we don't want no second best. So, and not to say the swings are better. I'm not saying first cast are worse or better or whatever. All I'm just saying is it's so hard to find that person that can play 5 roles just as well as one person can play 1 role. You know,
consistent.
And I think that was the click. I definitely had humility towards the understudies and swings the second time around, being one, of course. The first time around, I probably didn't. I was first cast. You know, I get to go on. I get to be the person that sings the end of the first act and the second act.
But you never acted like that, though.
No, you don't.
You were.
But
always...
in my brain, I was. No. I was never like that.
No, but you were like Peter and saying, I'm not going to go off. My understudy's not going on. The swing isn't going on. I'm going on.
Yeah,
I'm going on. You know, until the heart thing happened.
Yeah, it was like you just. Again, you come from London or New York. New York, where you're expected to do 8 shows. What is this cover show rubbish? What is this? I was like, if you get that in London, I'm like, we fight tooth and nail just to get on. And now we're being offered to go off. I'm like, no. You know how hard I've gone to school for this? You know, drama school. I've gone to every audition, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, waiting in line, cattle call. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going off stage. Well, before we get into that, I want them to bring back Papa.
Yeah.
I'll let Leave Rice know.
No. I don't, listen, there's nothing against anybody. It's just that, I was saying this to Janeen the other day, there's nothing like hearing 2 men sing at the top of their register.
It's a father-son thing, too.
Yeah, and also because it's, for me, for being a father-son thing, and you have that male figure over you,
right.
And something you don't have growing up, something that's strong, and then you have it, and they're telling you you're good enough, and all that stuff, and the show, it's like, it just hits different.
Mind you, we haven't seen the new one, so we plan on taking the boys next year. If there's another reunion, we definitely want to go and, you know, take our boys, because it was Alex's dream for a little while to do Starlight, which is really crazy, me being a singer and stuff like that. But then he grew out of even wanting to be on stage. But it was just one of those things where we haven't seen that new show, so I'm not sure how it will be, because there's so many moments in the old. It doesn't have Liebes Express,
it doesn't have Do a Line, it doesn't. So I'm just like, no. I think with what we know now, and the kids that are doing it now, they need to know that, you know, this is definitely a privileged group they're a part of.
Yeah.
You know, and something, even if you've never met me or Janeen or yourself, we have something in common that not many people have. And we're told so many times nowadays that, you know, you're not good enough, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like you're saying about the hope that's in the show. And these kids have to go through 3 months of training, and they are good enough, you know, and they're doing the best. I think people need to be told nowadays more and more, you know, that you have worth, you know, that there is some, you know, and I know where my worth comes from, of course, because my life has changed knowing who Jesus is, you know, being born again. Mm-hmm. So, and that's been, you know, 26 years now. So I came to Jesus late, you know, and I don't know where I was going with that.
I will say this, you know how people say, and I say this to my kids all the time, like, you know when your kids say, oh, Mom, you just don't understand, or oh, Dad, you just don't understand. And you sit there and you get so frustrated because you're like, I've been through what you've been through. I do understand what you're saying. But really, we don't. Somebody had to bring that to my attention. I remember a lady saying, but really you don't understand. Because when you grew up in school, you maybe had a note passed around the little classroom. And the only people that knew what was going on were the people in your classroom. That was called bullying. That was a bully. And you got bullied within your classroom. Nowadays, that same thing in our kids' generation is sent to the whole world. It's not just your little classroom of 20 people. It is the whole world. If it's something that is not true, if it is something that is sabotaging your reputation, that's not something small like what we had to deal with.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
We don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. Knowing what we know now.
So we don't understand the show.
Yeah. So knowing
but it's going to reach somebody.
Yeah, knowing what we know now is like people have gone. We don't know what they go through, but we do know there is hope.
Yeah.
We do know there is hope. For us, it's hope in Jesus Christ. Some other people may have hope in just have friendship, their relationships with their parents. The reason why we wrote. I say we because I think it's the reason why we wrote the show that we have, that we pursue and we put out there. It's called The Last Adam. It's a Jesus musical. It's a Godspell. It's not Godspell, but it is a Jesus-driven show. But the point of the show is it's for non-believers, because at the end of the show, it's always about Jesus going to Simon Peter on the beach, where he says, "Do you love me?" 3 times. And Peter's denied him, and then Jesus come back and says, after he says, "I love you," Simon Peter says to Jesus, and Jesus says, "I've always loved you, and I'll always love you." My point is that you don't have to be a believer. You just need to know that someone will always love you. There's always a chance. There's always hope. And that's what I want. Knowing what we went through with Starlight, going back a second time and getting that chance to finish it after having heart problems, meeting my wife of 30 years that's given me 2 beautiful boys. There is a plan for your life. Well, of course, the fact that Kirsty Wong died so young was just devastating, and it just goes to show that this world doesn't take any prisoners, and so I think it was sad and she was so full of life when she was at Starlight. She was on stage and she was always full out, 100%, and she was bubbly backstage. I don't ever think I ever saw her sad. And I'm sure she was sad and depressed sometimes. She was always full of life. And for someone to go so early, it's devastating, Michael, of course.
Well, yeah, but I think for us, and I'm not going to even say us, because you were closer, I think, to Kirsty than I was. Ray Strachan,
oh my goodness.
he was my partner. He was my Rugal when I was Jewel, First Cat's Jewel. So that hit me pretty hard, because I had spoken to him a few months prior, and that was hard. That one and Dustin.
Dustin was just such a...
That was a hard hitter, because that, to me, I felt like I may have not failed, because we did Bible study together with him and Michelle, and
he was my Dustin.
Yeah. There was that. There was a lot of people during our time. There was Robert Drummond.
Jeez, Robert Drummond. He lived next door to us on our second contract.
Yes.
And I never really got to know him the first time round. I just thought he was so showy and so whatever.
And he was the
but
best.
the second, he was so sweet. Did anything for us. We went over to his house, literally next door on his roof on a Monday.
Him and his partner would grill out, and we would be there and just...
And his laugh was so infectious. Even if it wasn't funny what I said, he would still laugh. Bless him. Oh my goodness, he was just such a, and I was surprised at how good he really was.
Yeah, he's good.
First contract I saw, he was a swing, did this. Then the second one he did electro. He had these moments when he was really freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And such a sweet guy, and really he would do anything for you. And for Robert Hardaway, who was good friends with him, that was devastating for him, and probably still is. But Robert Drummond, yes, Dustin.
Martin. Was it Martin?
Martin Booth?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for goodness, you're bringing up all these people. It's so funny how you don't think about it on a day-to-day basis, but when you bring it up, you have all these memories flood back.
Yeah.
But it was because we all started so young. Everybody was so young when they passed, and it's and that's, again, going back to the hope of life.
Yes.
And the hope of the show, because we have lost people that are so young, and we're always fighting with, well, why? Why do we have to fight this? Why do we have to deal with cancer? Why do we have to deal with heart attacks? Why do we have to deal with this in this broken world? Why? There's no hope. But there is hope. Yeah. And for goodness sake, we sang about it in a show for 12 months. I keep having a visual we're like the new cast is like this pyramid. we're a pyramid of people, and we're all standing on the shoulders of the ones that previously came before us. So you may be at the top of the pyramid right now because you're not in the cast of 2026, 27, but you are actually standing on the shoulders of it. And some of them have been removed because they've gone. But we're still a strong foundation.
Right.
You know, we're still strong and we're still there.
I think that's the one thing that I absolutely love. And it's a regret sometimes too, is that when you think back and you see the people who you had friendships with, right? That you were great friends with, those were amazing. But then you see now, like on social media, you see their life is completely different. Like we're no longer doing the performing in a musical anymore. Well, there are people that, for example, I'll shout out, you know, Peely Clark and Erica Metz. Erica Metz going through what she did with her son, and Peely doing these phenomenal musicals with the school, and then completely changing careers and being in the state parks and he's amazing. Like, I almost wish I had that friendship with him, like way back when, and got to know him more than I ever did. But it's life.
Life is too short to have just one career.
Yeah.
You got to do some different things. Change it up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's so amazing to see what these people now in our generation, what we're doing with our lives. And it is true, giving other people hope. And man, these young kids that are doing it now,
good luck to them.
Yeah, they have their whole life ahead of them that they're going to be, this is only the beginning. The best is yet to come.
But again, we still look at each other, no matter how much we've changed, we still look at each other and know that we've gone through the same thing with us, and we give each other a little wink.
Yes.
Because we've all, I know where you're at. I don't care how much you've changed. I know where you've been.
Yeah.
I would say, don't take anything for granted.
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment. And because we get so caught up in, well, we're young, we're invincible. I found out at 26 that I wasn't invincible because I could have died. So you find out that pretty soon, you know, you take every day as a blessing. So I would say to them, just be humble and just enjoy every moment. Everybody is going through something that you're going through, so don't think less of them. You know, think of them as better than you. That's truly humility, and you're walking the same road as each other. So get on with each other. You walk it together. You know, I would encourage them to,
I would
have
say
unity.
Yeah, unity. That is the biggest thing. Have unity. Find your faith. Doesn't have to be what we believe in. You know, I mean, I would love it to be.
Well, it is.
You know, I would love it to be, but it is not me that is here to judge.
Be great.
You know,
Again,
be
I'd
grateful.
say be grateful, be humble, be privileged. All these things that I've learned at 56 now, and you're 65. That I wish I was more grateful. You know, back then, and realized how privileged I was to have done what I did. Yeah, but hopefully this is what Arlene's looking for, is for us to look back at these young kids and just say, hey, listen, we're mentoring you now. You know, even if it's through a Zoom call, even if it's through something, we're mentoring you. You know, be grateful. Be grateful to Arlene. Be grateful to Debbie. Be grateful to Gary Noakes. All these people, Steve Russo, all these people that have plowed into you.
Dolan, who busted his butt helping Michael, and so many people, Tom Moneypenny.
Yeah.
I mean, they all just pitched in and helped and did everything. I mean, Luann being Debbie's right hand.
But for the people now, even the people that are here and the people that are not here, basically all I can just say is thank you. Thanks. Because that's all we have is gratitude. You know, it's the song we sing, gratitude in worship. You know, it's like I have absolute gratitude that they walked it through with us, and they are. I can still call any one of them. Yeah. I can call if I wanted to call Ernest Marchane. I haven't spoken to in years. I'm sure he would pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You know, and we would talk as if it was yesterday. So I have nothing but gratitude for these people, because they have made me who I am. And even if they're not here anymore, they have put an imprint on our lives that I will always be thankful for. I think
You lived a good life.
good. It's like what we say when we want to go home. Good job, faithful servant, you know? What I want to say to them, what they did with is good job. You were faithful with what you had. I mean, you're talking about people like Martin, Kirsty, Robert, all these people, they were good at what they did. So I would just say, well done. You know, it was a short life, but it was a life well done.